Hi friends, Aitherea here. Today's video is going to be geared towards newer players as I will be explaining the glamour system and all of its various facets. I'll go over how to unlock the glamour system, how to store, apply, and dye glamours, as well as how to inspect other players to figure out what they're wearing, and much more. If you're wondering where to get glamour items, especially at lower levels, I have a video on that already, so do check it out. This is going to be a very long video probably, so there will be chapters to help you navigate. But anyways, let's just get started. So first, let's talk about how to even unlock the glamour system. Well, you have to be a level 15. Once you reach that level, you'll be eligible to get a quest from an NPC named Swergheim, who is in Vesper Bay, which is in Western Thonalon. The quest is called If I Had a Glamour. That same NPC, Swergheim, will also unlock the dyeing system for you, which allows you to change the color of your glamour pieces. Note that not all of the glamour pieces in the game are dyeable. Those that are will have either 1 or 2 circles in the right-hand corner of the icon. 1 circle denotes 1 dye channel, while 2 denotes 2 dye channels. The quest to unlock dyeing is called Color Your World, and should be available at the same time as If I Had a Glamour, so make sure to do both while you're there. Unfortunately, if you didn't choose a class that starts in Ul'dah, you'll have to progress through the main story questline until it takes you to Ul'dah. At that point, you can run to Vesper Bay and complete the quest that Swergheim has to offer. And by the way, the main story quest will actually take you to Vesper Bay, so if you're willing to wait, you do not have to run from Ul'dah to Vesper Bay, you can just wait it out until the MSQ takes you there. If you also unlock a Disciple of the Hand, which is a crafter, and get it to level 15, then Swergheim also offers a quest called Absolutely Glamorous, which allows you to craft glamour prisms. Glamour prisms are the item you need to store glamours in your glamour dresser and to apply glamours that are in your inventory or armory chest. Though you can choose to learn how to craft glamour prisms yourself, it isn't all that necessary as there are various ways to get them in the game. Furthermore, oftentimes getting the materials you need to craft glamour prisms takes more gil and overall effort than just getting them via the methods I'm about to share. So, how do we get glamour prisms? Where can we get them from? First of all, you can get them with something called wolf marks, which you get for doing PvP. PvP unlocks at level 30. You can also get glamour prisms with Grand Company seals, and you will unlock your Grand Company through the main story quest, which is around level 20 of the main story quest, but you will probably out-level your MSQ, so just be aware of that, but it's level 20 for the MSQ. You can also get them later in the game with bicolored gemstones, as well as from something called Island Sanctuary, but those are like level 70, and later Island Sanctuary is level 90, so it's not for a while. My preferred way to get glamour prisms is with Grand Company seals, because all you have to do is when you're going through a dungeon, whenever gear drops, just roll on it, need if you can need, and if you can't need, then greed, and eventually, once you've progressed your Grand Company far enough, you can exchange all of this gear that you've gotten for Grand Company seals through the Expert Delivery tab. It's honestly a very easy currency to get. I also do usually have a lot of wolf marks, honestly more than I know what to do with, just because I do my Frontlines roulette pretty often so that I can get my series Malmstones rewards, but a lot of times I'll just throw those extra wolf marks away on glamour prisms because I don't really have anything else that I need. And of course, if those methods don't work for you, you can always buy them from the market board. They're not that expensive, but at low levels, it can be a little bit difficult to afford that because a lot of people are only selling them in stacks of 99. So even if they're only like 100 or 125 per, you can only get them in like large stacks because that's what people are selling them in. But you will get a few free glamour prisms from Swergheim herself when you do those unlocking quests. And there are a number of side quests that you can do for free ones if you're so inclined. I will be sharing a resource called Garland Tools later that can help you figure out where to find those quests. Basically, on Garland Tools, you will just search Glamour Prism, and then in the drop-down menu, it'll show you all of the different side quests that will give those items. But we'll talk more about Garland Tools later. Alright, so now that we've unlocked the glamouring system, and we know where to get glamour prisms, let's talk about how to actually cast glamour onto our gear so that we can stop looking like scrubs. There are various ways to actually apply glamour to your outfits, but the best way, in my opinion, is going to involve an inn room, so head to your nearest inn. Before we can apply glamours, it is best to store them so that we don't accidentally discard them. Storing them will also allow us to create something called glamour plates, which can be used to apply glamours in any town, so I'll explain the storage system and then how to use that to apply glamours. Inside the inn room, you'll see there is a glamour dresser and an armoire. Inside the armoire, you can store glamours that you bought on the FFXIV store, or we call it the MOG station pretty often, as well as glamours from past events. Final Fantasy XIV hosts events every year for various holidays, and sometimes they reward glamour pieces. There are also crossover events sometimes that award glamour pieces, such as the Final Fantasy XVI crossover event that happened in the past. You can also put some, but not all, of your level 50 artifact gears in the dresser. It's kind of annoying that you can't put all of your artifact gear in general in there. One thing to note about the armoire is that once a piece is inside of the armoire, you cannot save a dye on it. So you might prefer to put it in the glamour dresser instead if you want to save your dyes, and I will explain what I mean by saving dyes later, but that is something to know. Unlike the armoire, you can put basically anything in the glamour dresser. However, all items that you want to place in the glamour dresser or the armoire must be in 100% condition, meaning they cannot be damaged, so be sure to talk to the mender outside of the inn before you go in the inn and try putting stuff into the glamour dresser. When you put something into the glamour dresser, it will cost you a glamour prism. As of patch 7.1, Final Fantasy XIV has implemented a new system with the glamour dresser that will allow you to store an entire glamour set as just one piece. So, in the past, if I were to put the bridesmaid set in the glamour dresser, it would take up 3 spaces because it is made of 3 pieces: the chest, the pants, and the shoes. If I put it into the glamour dresser using this new system, it will only take up 1 space instead of 3. The new system does have some downfalls though. First of all, it will erase any dyes you have saved on your pieces, and once they are stored as a set, you will not be able to save any new dyes on them. Since I keep bringing up these save dyes, I'll give you a quick TLDR of what that is. It means that you can dye a piece of gear and then put it into your glamour dresser, and that dye color will stay on that piece of gear until you choose to change it, and it's a way for you to get more mileage out of potentially expensive dyes. I will show you how to do this later in the video, but that's just a TLDR so you can understand what the heck I'm talking about right now. Another issue is that some glamour sets have variations. So if you wanted to store the entire set as one piece, you kind of just can't. There's always going to be at least one straggler. That's not the end of the world though, because one straggler will take up 1 space, just as it would if you bought all these pieces a second time to store the straggler with them as a set. It doesn't really save you anything. But there are some sets, such as those from Island Sanctuary, that will have 2 stragglers, at which point it's up to you if saving 1 space is worth getting the pieces a second time to store the entire glamour as a set a second time. I feel like that's kind of confusing, but there will be some visuals for you, so I hope that that makes sense. But regardless, you can save a lot of space by storing stuff as a set. I guess the other downfall with this is that you do have to potentially buy things if they're glamours that you're buying off the market board, so it will cost more to store stuff as a set, but I think it's a great option. And here's the thing, you don't have to do it right away. You can always store everything just by themselves, and then later, maybe when you have more resources, more gil, maybe you've leveled up a crafter and you can craft the item yourself, then you can go back, pull those pieces out of your glamour dresser, and with all of the other pieces of the set, put them back in as a whole set that only takes up one slot. As of recording this video, the only items that can be stored as sets are level 1 glamours, so you won't really be able to store sets of gear that you've gotten from dungeons. However, that may not be the case in the future, as the devs do plan to expand the system and make more items eligible to be stored this way. So whether you decide to store your glamours as sets or not, storing them is very, very easy. All you do is click on your glamour dresser to open it up, and it'll show you a list of all of the gear that you have that you can store, and all you have to do is click on it. If you do want to store it as a set, it will have a little icon next to it, and you can click on that to see what all pieces you need and if you have them all with you. They have to be either in your armory chest or in your inventory, like all of them. You can't have some of them in the glamour dresser and some of them in your inventory. They all have to be like outside of the glamour dresser for you to store them together. But yes, very, very easy. Just click on them and in they go. And do note that, like I said earlier, it will cost you glamour prisms to store stuff. If you're storing just one piece, it's 1 glamour prism, but if you're storing a set, it will take as many glamour prisms as there are items in the set. So if the set includes 5 items, it's 5 glamour prisms. If it's only 3 items, it'll cost 3 glamour prisms. Once you have stored your glamours, you can create something called glamour plates. Glamour plates can be applied in any sanctuary. So look at your EXP bar. If you see the crescent moon, you are in a sanctuary and you can use your glamour plates. If there's no moon, you won't be able to apply them. Most sanctuaries in the game are big cities or small towns, essentially safe zones. The cool thing about glamour plates is that not only do you have your whole outfit there, you don't have to put things on one by one, but it also doesn't cost you any glamour prisms to apply them. And they're with you everywhere you go, so you'll always have your favorite outfits on hand. Unfortunately, you do only get 20 glamour plates total, but we are hoping that someday they will add more. Making glamour plates is really simple. Just open your glamour dresser and click Edit Glamour Plate. From there, it's pretty intuitive. Click on the item of whatever gear piece you want, and you'll be shown all of the options you have in your glamour dresser. Note that there is a drop-down menu that will allow you to sort glamour pieces by job. There are also filters you can use to filter by level or even keyword. However, if you're using a keyword, you do have to be pretty precise. The search is case sensitive, and if there are any items that have like weird punctuation in them, such as apostrophes or things like that, you have to type it correctly or it's not going to show up. You'll also notice that there is a button that says Open Armoire. This is where you find all of the pieces that you've stored in your armoire that you might wish to put on a glamour plate as part of an outfit. As you're putting together an outfit, you'll probably realize that things don't always look that great together until they have all been dyed to match. All you have to do is right-click the icon and hit Dye. There, you'll see the dye menu and all of the options you have. When you open up the dye menu, you'll notice there's a feature called Favored Dyes, and this allows you to save dyes as favorites, and they'll basically just always be there for quick use. So when you click that button, it just applies them. If you want to save a dye as favorite, you navigate to that dye, you right-click it, and then you can pick it as favorite dye 1 or 2. As you can see, I've chosen the same colors here, but you don't have to do that. You could set different colors for dye 1 and dye 2. You also see there is this previously applied dyes option. So let's say that I reflect the black onto here. Now if I go to my next piece and open up the dye thing, the previously applied dye has changed to what I just applied to the last piece. So now I can quickly and easily reflect that, and this just makes the system a little bit easier and more convenient to use. But let's say that I don't want to use previously applied dyes and I'm not feeling my favorite dyes today. Maybe today is a pink and white kind of day. So what I'll do instead is I'm on dye 1 for this piece that has 2 dye channels. I'll navigate here to this pink. Okay, we love it. Now I'll click on the dye 2 tab and I'm going to make it this white color. and then we can reflect that. Again, you'll see some items only have one dye channel, and there is only one dye here. You can play around with this and see how the previously applied dyes works. It just does the pink because pink is in the dye 1 slot, and we're dyeing 1 here. Of course, I can pick any color I want. If I actually click on this here, it'll turn it to white. If I click on that, it turns it to black. I can reflect it that way, and beautiful. Another thing you can do is, let's say that you don't like this combination of pink and white and you think it would look better reversed, you can swap it and then reflect it like that. So the dyeing system is really nice, really easy to use, and has some nice features for convenience. Dyes in this game are physical objects, so you have to have a dye in your inventory in order to apply it to a glamour piece. The easiest dyes to get are from NPCs in the main cities, and they're often pretty inexpensive. My personal favorites of the cheap dyes are ice blue, sky blue, and rose pink. Some dyes can only be purchased from allied societies, or beast tribes as us older players tend to call them. And if you haven't progressed those tribes, you won't have access to them, so you would need to instead purchase those colors from the market board. Some dyes have to be crafted using pigments that you can gather with a gathering job. You can craft these with any of the crafting jobs so long as you're level 30 or above on that crafter and you have the pigments on hand in your inventory. Some dyes are available via Island Sanctuary or something called FFXIV, which are in the Ishgard Restoration area, the firmaments. And finally, some dyes are more rare and they can only be gotten from venture coffers or bought in the Mog Station. And venture coffers are something that your retainer brings you when they go out on a quick exploration, but it is RNG, so they don't bring them every time. And then when you open them, it's also RNG what dye you're going to get from it. Sometimes you can get incredibly rare dyes, or some that are like kind of rare, but not really that expensive. The rarest dyes in the game that you can get from those venture coffers are jet black and pure whites, which again, you can also buy those on the Mog Station. But if you buy them on the Mog Station, I don't think you can sell them. I don't really remember, but I don't think you can. And both of those, both pure white and jet black, typically cost about 400 to 500k on the market board, so they're quite expensive. All of the dyes in the game can be bought and sold on the market board, so don't worry too much if you don't have immediate access to a color that you want. You can definitely just buy it on the market board. Okay, so I've just mentioned that some dyes are really expensive, and this is why you might want to do what I kept talking about earlier, which is save the dye on a specific gear piece. So if you dye stuff while it is on your glamour plates, the moment you decide you want to change the outfit on that glamour plate, or even just that single piece, the dye that you've used, poof, gone, that's it. So if you do get your hands on some of those rare dyes, like pure white, and you have a specific item that you want to use it on, I would recommend that you don't dye it on your glamour plate. There are 2 ways to save the dye on this item. The first would be to keep it in your actual inventory or your armory chest, right-click it and dye it while it is in there, and then put it into your glamour dresser. The second option is put it in your glamour dresser, and then while it is in the glamour dresser, not on a glamour plate, but in the glamour dresser, right-click on it and dye it. Now you'll notice that if you click on this piece and then put it into a glamour plate, it is already the color that you had dyed it before. This can be a great way to get more mileage out of expensive dyes, especially because you can still dye it a different color, but you just want to do that on the actual glamour plate. Like, don't take it out and dye it, don't dye it within the glamour dresser, only do it on a glamour plate, and that way you can dye it a different color as part of your outfit, but you will not have like ruined the color that you saved. Let's say though that you don't want to create a whole other outfit, you just want to wear one specific piece or glam over one specific piece that you're wearing, but you want to dye it a different color without losing that expensive dye. Open your glamour dresser, but do not click edit glamour plates. Instead, find the item you want to use, right-click it and click apply glamour. Now you've applied that one piece and only that one glamour piece to your outfit. Now you can open your character menu, right-click that item that you just applied, and dye it. So that way, if you want to dye it a different color than the dye that you've saved, you can, and you won't lose the dye that you've saved. By the way, you can also use this right-click apply glamour method with the armoire as well. You'll just want to click on the armoire and then choose to remove a glamour. You're not actually going to remove anything, but if you choose store a glamour, you won't be able to see everything that you've gotten there. So click remove glamour, find the piece that you want, and then you can right-click it and click apply glamour. Like I said, you cannot save dyes to pieces that are placed in the armoire, but this is simply another method for applying glamours that you should know in case you just want to change one piece of what you're wearing. Applying glamours this way directly from the glamour dresser or the armoire does not cost any glamour prisms. Alright, so now that we understand everything about putting together a glamour plate and dyeing the pieces on it, and a little bit more past that, how do you actually apply the glamour plate? Well, you need to open your character menu and click this button that kind of looks like a stack of papers. This gives you access to all of your glamour plates, and you just choose the one you like and click apply. Like I said, glamour plates can only be applied in sanctuaries, which I showed you earlier are denoted by the crescent moon next to the EXP bar. Okay, so there is another method for applying glamours while in an inn that you should know about. Open your character menu and navigate to the piece of gear you'd like to glamour over. Right-click on it and click Cast Glamour. In the upper right, there is a drop-down menu. From here, you can choose the armoire or the glamour dresser, find the piece that you want, and apply it. You'll notice you can also apply glamours that are stored in a retainer's inventory, but you must speak to the summoning bell and summon that retainer before you're able to do so. If you want to apply a glamour but you're not in the inn room, you can take the same exact steps of opening your character menu, right-clicking the piece and clicking to apply a glamour. However, you're going to notice that you really don't have a lot of options. Your options are going to be limited to whatever you have in your inventory or armory chest, as that drop-down menu will no longer show you the items available in your armoire or your glamour dresser. By the way, if you want to remove a glamour from a gear piece because maybe you want to see what it originally looked like, or for whatever reason you want that look back, you need an item called a glamour dispeller, which you can get from the same places that you get glamour prisms, so basically Grand Company seals, wolf marks, or even on the market board. As you can see here, there's also a long list of shops that sells glamour dispellers. A bunch of them you can just pay 500 gil and get a glamour dispeller. They also come from some of the different beast tribes, allied societies. So there's so many ways to get these, but I think the easiest ones would be these 3 that are in the main cities. Right-click the item that you want to put back to normal, click Cast Glamour, and then click Remove at the top. You'll expend 1 glamour dispeller, and the item will be put back to its original appearance. If you want to remove the dye on an item, you need something called Terebinth, which you can get from the same NPCs in the main cities that sell dyes. It's the same deal, just right-click the piece, click dye, and then navigate to the white tab, like the white color, and click the empty box with a slash through it. And this will return the item to its original color. One more thing to know about is these icons in your character menu here at the bottom. You can actually toggle on and off the display of your weapon. You can also toggle on and off the display of your headgear. And I know this doesn't match at all, but I chose this for a reason, because you can also adjust the visor, which on a piece like this is that little metal thing. So these are also useful because let's say that maybe you're a low level and you have a really ugly hat and you don't have any way to glam over it, you can just remove it from your character. Same with the weapon. Obviously my weapon right here is really gorgeous. Of course I want to show it off, but every now and then maybe you don't want your weapon, so that toggle is there. Okay, next I want to talk about the try-on function of the game and the many ways you can use it. As the name sounds, this function allows you to try on glamours that you don't even own. You can see how a piece looks with what you're currently wearing, or even build an entire outfit preview. Since we're already in the inn, let's look at the try-on feature in the Glamour dresser. Right-click any piece in your Glamour dresser and then click Try On, and you can see how it looks on its own or with your current outfit by pressing the icon that looks like a person with their hand on their hip. You can even right-click any item in the preview and test what it would look like dyed. You can also use the Try On feature to look at gear or glamours that are on the market board, and it works the same way with just right-clicking on it and clicking Try On. Let's say, though, that you want to build an entire outfit via the Try On menu, aptly called the fitting room. With the fitting room open, click the icon in the middle that looks like a piece of paper with a pin in it. This will save whatever you're currently wearing in the preview. Now, if you try on a different item, it'll show up with all of the stuff that was saved. We can do something really cool with this using a chat command called isearch. Let's say that you are trying to put together the perfect outfit, but you don't quite have everything you need in your wardrobe, or you just want to try out different things without having to go, well, anywhere. If you know the name of the item you think might look good with whatever you're looking at on the market board, and you actually own that item, like it's in one of your inventories or in your Glamour dresser somewhere, then you can type /isearch and then the name or the partial name of the piece. So I might search for Eastern Lady Errant because I want to see how the Eastern Lady Errant gloves look with the outfit I'm checking out on the market board. You'll see the iSearch feature has linked items in the chat that matched my search. I can now right-click these items and try them on. Whenever you're done using the saved outfit feature, just click on the icon again to have the fitting room go back to normal and get all of those saved pieces off. Also, any gear piece that somebody links to you in the chat can be tried on by right-clicking it. Now, let's say that you see someone while you're running through Limsa or whatever city, and you think their outfit is fire, but you don't know what it is, and you really want to know. Target that person, right-click them, and click Examine. You can now right-click any piece of their outfit and try it on. And if you hover over the outfit, it will show you the actual gear piece they're wearing, but then it will blink over to the name of the item they've glamoured over it with. It will even show you the exact colors that they have dyed it. Now you might be thinking, okay, so I know the name of the item, but I still have no clue where it came from or how to get it in the game. You can, of course, just Google the name, but now I would like to share with you a really useful tool for this kind of situation, the website I was talking about earlier called Garland Tools. You can type in the name of the item in Garland Tools, and it will show you all sorts of info about it. Like first it'll give you, when you start typing in the name, anything that matches that, but once you click on it, it will give you the icon and a few different little tabs with different information. So if you click on the tab called Sources and Uses, it will provide information on where that piece came from, such as a dungeon or the Mog Station. Be careful not to get mixed up though, because the tab also shows you ways to use the item, which sometimes might include exchanging it via expert delivery for Grand Company seals. In this case, it might look to you like the item is available for Grand Company seals, but it is not. So just be careful not to get too mixed up. And of course, if you are ever confused, you can just do a Google search and that can help too. But I think that Garland Tools is really nice because it kind of has everything you want or need in one place. Okay, so before we move on completely from glamouring and trying stuff on, there is another helpful feature in the in-room that I wanted to mention. By right-clicking on the bed in any in-room, you can enter something called Dream Fitting. This is a feature that allows you to try on any of the glamours available in the Mog Station. Basically, it's a way to see something on your character before you buy it so that you can be certain that you like how it looks on you. You can also test out dyes, and I would urge you to do so, as sometimes you might be disappointed in the way something dyes, which may change your opinion about whether or not it is worth your hard-earned cash. Okay, so those are the important parts of the Glamour system, but before I let you go, I want to tell you about the Aesthetician, because changing your hair and makeup, in my opinion, is a big part of Glamour as well. Furthermore, I have met a few new players who unfortunately wasted $10 on Fantasias, not knowing that they could change things like their hairstyle, eyebrows, and makeup for free in-game at the Aesthetician, so let's talk about how to unlock it and what the Aesthetician can do for you. So, to unlock the Aesthetician, you have to be level 15 and do a quest called Beauty is Only Scalp Deep, which you will find in Limsa in the Drowning Wench. The quest giver's name is something I can't pronounce, but it's something along the lines of Sadojbi. This quest will require you to go to both Ul'dah and Gridania to talk to other NPCs, so you won't be able to complete it until you've gained access to those cities through the main story questline. But don't worry, the main story questline will take you there. Once you've unlocked the Aesthetician, you can go to an inner room and talk to a crystal bell to summon him. From here, you'll be taken to a screen where you can edit your character's hairstyle, hair color, eyebrows, lip color, face paint, and face color. Face paint includes makeup like blush, eyeshadow, and literal face paint. There's also an option to edit facial features, and these are race specific, but they include things like scars, moles, and little forehead jewels or third eyes like what my cat girl has. Some races have other features you can edit in the Aesthetician as well. For example, Ora can add or remove limbal rings and change their colors. For my character, Amikote, I can choose if she wears these ear clasps and choose their color. Unfortunately, the Aesthetician cannot do plastic surgery, so if you want to change something like your eye color, eye shape, lip shape, nose shape, face type, or your entire race, then you'll need to get a Fantasia, which costs $10 on the Final Fantasy XIV store, aka the Mog Station. However, you can get a free Fantasia by reaching level 50 and completing the main story quest for A Realm Reborn. Do note, however, that if you buy a story skip, you will not be able to get this Fantasia. You're basically forfeiting it if you buy a story skip. You have to actually play through the A Realm Reborn MSQ to get it. There is another free Fantasia in Ul'dah from an NPC called the Medicine Merchant that you get by doing a really simple quest. You'll find this NPC at X13Y9 near the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. Finally, until patch 7.2, you can get a free Fantasia in Gridania. Travel to the Lancers Guild and then run to Apkalu Falls. Talk to the Wandering Moogle and it's yours. This free Fantasia is a limited time item, so if you're watching this video during patch 7.2 or later, unfortunately, you can no longer get this Fantasia. Okay, I think that's everything I wanted to share with you today about the glamour system in Final Fantasy XIV. I hope this video was helpful to you in understanding the many features and aspects of the glamour system. If you're wondering how to go about actually getting glam pieces that you like, especially if you're still a low level, then do check out my other video titled The Ultimate Glam Guide for New and Broke Players, which will be linked, of course. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Please consider leaving a sacrifice to Lord Algorithm in the form of a like, comment, share, or subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to my channel members for supporting me. Bye!